After the success that followed Tomb Raider, everyone knew they would be seeing Miss Lara Croft again. Well, a year later, Lara is back, and better than ever, with a new treasure to find and enemies to shoot in the creatively titled Tomb Raider 2. The story focuses on the Dagger of Xian, a legendary weapon that has the ability to turn a person into a dragon. And of course, like all mystical, powerful weapons, someone is out to get it and use it for bad reasons. So Lara is out to find the dagger and save the world. The game's story is interesting and does a decent job keeping your attention, although it is predictable and forgettable. It will take you around the world, starting with the Great Wall of China and eventually to Venice and Tibet. All the levels look great with the much improved graphics. For the PlayStation, these were some impressive looking textures, and the character models are improved. Lara still has a bad case of shovel face, and her body is still that of a fantasy, a very polygonal fantasy. The levels are even bigger than in the first game, and make good use of the game's lighting effects. But with these larger levels comes some harder puzzles. The puzzles in them are much more difficult. Expect to get lost often while you backtrack looking for that switch you missed. The gameplay is still the same as the first game, which is not a bad thing. You do your jumping, climbing, and shooting as you hunt for treasures in order to advance to the next level. Lara still has her famous handguns, which will be your go-to for most of the game, but it also offers some new weapons such as the M16 and, one of my personal favorite weapons, a harpoon gun. The combat is much more prevalent than in the first game, having Lara thin down the populations of both endangered species and man. The platforming is just as sensitive as before, relying a lot on blind jumps. Thankfully, you can save from anywhere. There are also some vehicle sections, such as driving a boat through Venice, that mix up the action nicely. And there's still those annoying swimming levels, which are still just as frustrating. And while all this sounds great, there is something about the game that just doesn't wow like the original. The first game was a huge shakeup for gaming, and this one just follows behind. It doesn't really take any risks, and is mostly more of the same. While this isn't that big of a problem for a sequel, it was a sign of things to come for the series.